Good day. Welcome to Freely Speaking. Once again, I'm your host, Frank James IV. I'm in a classroom because the world is my classroom, but I'm bringing you into this classroom so many people can understand out there why we have in the African American community so many educated Negroes and no businesses outside of wing shops, maybe a few hair shops, a few gear things, no solid economy, and no industry. Because in these rooms, I don't care if your child is getting A's or if he's getting F's. They're being exposed to a white racist education system. In South Africa, they call it a Bantu education. Over here, we call it public education or even private education. Because you have to understand, KRS-One was right back in the 80s. He said, you don't teach white kids to be black. Now I know what you're saying. They just teach. Well, yeah, but if you're a kid sitting in the classroom and in every subject you hear about subconsciously and even in the text, everything was basically created by white folks. In math, they tell you about the Greeks. In history, well, you already know where they're going with that. In science, they talk about them. And in English, of course, when you're a senior, you take British Lit, 11th grade American Lit, and up to that point, you just take basic English, which very few of the authors outside of maybe Langston Hughes or a little bit from the Harlem Renaissance, what you would call African American people. Do you see what's going on here? Now you have to ask yourself, African Americans, if the chicken turned over their chicks to the fox and told them to raise them, if the fox didn't eat them cold flat out, how would he raise those chicks in a way that's going to help him be able to exploit them? So now you turn your kids over, K3, K4, K5, and you turn them over to a system that's designed to keep them where they are and where you are right now. The status of African Americans in this country with all these educated Negroes, doctors, whatnot, is the ultimate consumer. You have no industry. You always consuming. You don't even make the chicken that you eat. You got to go buy it from somebody else. The Jordans, supplied by somebody else. Everything you think is cool is manufactured by someone else. Now, before someone go on a tangent and say, I got a problem with education, there's nothing wrong with education. Education is a tool. The problem is most people are letting the tool, which is education, use them and become them and define them, and not understanding how to use it. So you take a school system like Shelby County in Memphis City. 90% probably of the people that's making decisions down at the board are what you would call African American. The superintendent is an African American. But what do? They do the same thing that they've been trained to do. So are they educated or are they simply trained to keep manifesting or running the same directive that they've been programmed, which is a white racist education system? There is no getting around it. Yeah, they give you 28 days in February, 29 on leap year. But what good is that doing you when they tell you about the same people over and over again? King, maybe Granville Waiters, you might get some Benjamin Banneker. Come on now. It's time to wake up. Why is it with all these educated African American people, you have no industry? All you do is consume. Yeah, you might own a few restaurants, even a few urban, gear places. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. Some of you is billionaires out there. But the bottom line, where's the industry at? Exactly. You still going to them. Even if you have you're a billionaire on a record label, you still going to them because they had a system set up. It's their system. And why, with so much education in our community, are we still under that system? It's because it starts here in these rooms, from K5 on. They're exposed to basically a racist education that's designed to make them hate themselves. Or if not hate themselves, view whites and everybody else as being great and that they're lucky subconsciously to be there getting the benefits and the dividends from these great white achievements. Now, you may not believe me, but once again, like I said, this is Freely Speaking. Feel free to drop a comment on how you feel about it. You ain't got to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to think. The goal is to get you to think. Prove me wrong. But all you got to do is look around. Think about it. If that chicken turns over her chicks to the fox, how do you think that fox is going to raise them? And black people, African Americans, have been turning their children over to people who have hated them for at least 3,000 years. What do you think the result is going to be? With that in mind, stay black, stay strong, stay whatever you are, because whatever you are is beautiful.